aseptic technique. So the standard is to dress the patient's wound aseptically, and the task is going to be that all instruments that will be used must be sterile. There should be a sterile pack. The student should, that's the task. Then the criteria is um, using of opening of the dressing pack, the sterile dressing pack with a gloved hand, then setting up the dressing tray, taking it to the patient, making sure the patient is screened to provide privacy. Then um, doing the procedure, following the guideline for wound dressing. There is a process for dressing wound, starting from um, the um, the dirty part to the clean part. There's a process that should be followed. Then the rubric is going to be that if all these procedures are followed, all the criteria set are followed, then the patient's wound, the student is going to, the student will have followed an aseptic technique of wound dressing. Therefore, they thereby getting a yes and more. And if any of this procedure is missed out, maybe the student used a sterile pack, but the student does not use glove or did not screen the patient before doing the dressing, then the patient and the student can get yes, but though the wound will be dressed, but the student did not follow the right procedure. So it's going to be yes, but. Then if all these are not followed, maybe there is no sterile dressing pack, the student did not use glove, the student did not screen patients, did not communicate with the patient, did not follow the right procedure, then it's going to be a zero.
Okay, thank you. Oh, I need reactions on what she presented, especially from people from that same group that can understand the language of the subject better. Are you the only person in that group? Okay.
We did it together, so we need reaction from the other.
Okay. Okay, let me be asking specific questions.
From the standard.
What is the standard in your assignment? In your question, your authentic tax. What is the standard?
What do you want the student to know and be able to do? That is
The student should be able to dress patient's wound following an aseptic technique.
That's the knowledge and the skill.
Yes.
And what the student is be able to perform for his good. What is the task?
The task is to be sure that all instruments that will be used.
Do you agree with them? Do you agree with them that that is tax?
My own task is I have given my students add 23 specific plus 25. Question 1. Question 2. Add 27 plus 26. That is my task. So give me task.
Okay, the task is knowing the number of patients that going to the
Give the respondent.
okay, go to the sterilization unit and get a sterile pack, dressing pack.
Give them the patient you want them to and ask them question. Give them the patient and tell them what to do.
Okay,
that's the tax.
The tax should flow from the standard.
Dress wound for patients A.
Patients, take them to dressing room and use their own language.
Take patient A to dressing room and dress the wound using aseptic technique.
Period. That's the task. So you cannot clap for yourself.
Your police will give us criteria.
Okay, the criteria.
The criteria will now be the dressing part must be sterile.
They should know, and that's
It's part of the standard.
Yeah.
The dressing part must be sterile. The students must wear their mask. The patient must be properly screened to provide privacy. The sterile, the field, the pack must be sterile. That is, the field on the trolley must be sterile. And the wound must be dressed inside out.
You are giving us the criteria as a command.
Okay.
We don't need a command. We need what the students will be doing.
Okay. Dress the wound inside.
Just the language. The language you use is different from the question. You know, it's a question you are giving.
Yes.
So they should. Must.
Okay.
So it becomes a different thing.
Okay. The
My
students.
students have added the 2-digit number.
Okay.
23 and 3 plus 5 8. Written under units. 2 plus 2 written under tens. In the second question, 7 plus 8, 15. Some wrote 15 under units, while some wrote 5 and carried 1 and added 2 tens. Do that.
Okay. The students should dress the wound aseptically. They should dress the wound inside out. Mask must be worn by the students.
No, the students want maths.
Okay, worn the mask.
They clean
the wound, okay. Report.
So they are not describing the action of the student.
Okay, so report.
Yes.
Alright. So the student was able to clean the wound aseptically, were able to wear their mask, screen the patient to provide privacy, and treat the patient as well.
Okay, when we now get to the rubric, who else is in your group? Let's talk about your rubric.
Anybody in your group? Okay, so you can help us now. You juggle everything together in your rubric, step by step.
Okay. Student that is able to wear mask properly and use glove properly, dress wound using aseptic technique as set in the standard, will get a yes and no. And a student that is wears mask, use glove, screen the patient, but the dressing pack is not sterile, but does not dress the wound inside out, you get a yes spot.
Must you group all the skills together? Why not assemble the related tasks? There are tasks that are different from others. Why not separate them so that you have one, you have two, you have the criteria, the skills and the knowledge. Separate the skills from the knowledge.
Okay. Okay, if the student was able to use mask and glove, he has not done it and did not do the dressing.
Remove the dressing from it. Just the knowledge different from the skill itself. Assess the skill, assess the knowledge. Do you understand where I'm going? Assess the skill, assess the knowledge.
Okay, is a student that is able to use gloves properly, mask properly, screen the patients, gets a yes and more.
How were they to dress the wound? You gave a specific way
the wound must be dressed. The wound must be dressed inside out. So a student that does that.
That's a skill.
That's a skill.
That's a special. I can wear
Yes.
mask. I can do that. I cannot dress the wound because I don't have that skill. Are you going to group me with them? So, but you are going to give me the score where I can put my mask. I can put it on. I can bring whatever you want me to bring. But when it comes to dressing, I won't know how to do it. That one is a special skill. I should stand alone. Good. Thank you. Another group. Oh, you read the last one. There's a group here. There's a group here. Okay. Let's.
Good morning. I'm from marketing department. So my standard is that students should be able to make a video advert. That is standard. They should be able to make a video advert. Authentic tax is that the video advert should be for consumer goods. It should be for consumer goods because we have producer goods and consumer goods. So the criteria is that they are tax. The tax is that they should make that.
Tell us what we should do as students. The tax is do an advert for consumer goods.
That's what I said.
The language you use is different.
Okay, do an advert for consumer goods. Criteria is that students were able to identify consumer goods. The second one, students were able to use video effect in their advert. The third one, students were able to use graphic for the video. And the last one is that students were able to tell us the benefits of that product.
Okay, is that criteria in the right way it should be stated?
More of doing.
The more appropriate. We want criteria. What do you expect the student to be able to do? I expect the student to be able to add to the tax and carry rather than more than 10.
Students were able to. Students
are expected to.
Okay, students are expected to identify the consumer goods. Another criteria is that students were expected to use the video effect. Okay, students are expected to use the graphic for the video. And the last one, students are expected to tell us the benefits of that product. Rubric. The students that were able to identify the consumer goods and also use the video effect. The students were able to identify consumer goods. That means the students get yes and more. Yes and no. Students that identify the consumer goods get no, because they only identify the good. I want students to do 4 things. Out of those 4 things.
But I want you to just tell us about one first, because you are running away from telling us the different categories jump into another one. If the students are able to identify consumer goods, among so many, there could be consumer goods there could be goods that are not consumer goods. What of those who will mix them up? What of those who will actually identify them? What of those who don't even know what consumer goods are? So, give me a rubric in that order. Yes, because we're going to get that in the field.
The student were able to identify the consumer good. That would be yes, but. Yes, but. The students that are able that were able to tell us the benefits of using the product. That is yes. The students that are able to use the video effect and also use the graphic for the video. That is yes and more.
To improve on that. No, I want improvement on that rubric. That rubric is faulty, true or false? Yes. The rubric is faulty. We need to improve on the rubric. No, somebody from marketing check. Marketing. We might have many people here now.
The graphics you talk about, what are they in the rubric? You are not going to grade them any longer. You know, she got confused. He got confused when you insisted. He got confused when you insisted that he should do 1-1. He wanted yes and more to cut across everything he expected. Now, when you don't say he should mention 1-1, then he got confused about it. Because he wanted the one that will capture all the criteria, then it will be a yes and more. Then you cannot drop that.
So you can only use that when you are using holistic rubric. But I want you to use analytic rubric.
But you two, you didn't test so.
I said so.
You didn't test so.
No, in the question I said use both.
Your task was not clear.
Let's go back to my tax.
Prof, while you were asking to take it one by one, I was saying it here, and I said that you got him confused when he says, because he has so many criteria, and there's no way he will be able to pick 1-1-1 like that.
Yes.
Because the moment you start picking 1-1, it means that some of the criteria have been swept away. Because for anyone to have yes and more, he must be able to identify the consumer goods. He must be able to do video and advert effect. The graphic must be there. That means that the benefit of the product that is actually designing. So for that individual, that student, that is for yes and more.
Okay, let us cast.
Then you now start dropping the.
Excuse me, bro. Yes. Let us cast our mind back to that seminar paper, that rubric of seminar paper or projects. You remember that one of yesterday?
Yes.
We talked about organization. We talked about presentation. We talked about so many things. In our assessment, as we are assessing your projects, do you just pick projects and talk about everything globally? Even if you are using holistic rubric, there will be segmentations. Holistic rubric is just that you will just give a block mark for the section you want to give. But you see separate knowing consumer groups from ability to do advance, from ability to do other things. These are the criteria, and for each criteria it must be assessed separately. That's authentic assessment. Or else we'll be going back to what we used to do. You understand what I mean?
Now that you understand, now you have already segmented them to analytical and holistical.
Even what I'm saying is, even in analytic and holistic assessment, you will still have different criteria. But in the criteria, you don't break it down to 4, 3, 2, 1 and give reason. You just either you take this 5, take this 2. Remember the language that I used yesterday, intonation and accent. It is holistic, but it is still separated.
The LI. I mean the LI.
The LI, the assets rubric that I used yesterday, I did not give one block grade for all. I still separated them in criteria. Ability to do this, ability to do that, ability to do that. That's holistic. But when I talked about the seminar paper, I still said, under organization, you do this, you get 4, you do this, you get 3, you do this, you get 2, you do this, you get 1. Do you remember?
Yes.
So that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not after you really using analytic or holistic per se, but I'm after you are knowing that you mark each criteria, stand alone. Because I don't have to do everything the way he's talking about it. I should know consumer goods. Some will mix up consumer goods with other goods. So how are you going to handle that? Partial or full? It's the partial and full and more that you are scoring. Yes and more means full plus. Yes, you are just giving me what I want. Yes, but partial. No, the other way. Is it clearer?
I want to.
So another example.
I have an example, although it's more of something we all should know. The standard is that
No,
it's more
it's just about this. So we are reacting on that. Let's finish with this one first.
Okay, want to.
No, let him go ahead so that we
So,
know that he has picked it up.
as regards the rubric, to some students were able to identify consumer goods. That is yes and more. Students were able to identify consumer goods, but also mix it with producer goods. That is yes.
Yes, but.
Yes, but. And students only identify consumer goods in lieu of and students only identify use producer goods for consumer goods. That is none.
So your yes and more could be that
The student has identified consumer goods and went on to tell you why they are consumer goods. You understand? That is yes and more. They went beyond what you asked for. Simple. But when they just provide the consumer goods, it is just yes. When they provide consumer goods and still put in 1 or 2 others that are not consumer goods, it's yes, but because of that mistake. But when they don't know the one that are consumer goods or whatever, it is. I hope it's clear.
yes.
All right.
Thank you.
And the last
The example here I want to give is the standard is that students must be able to use Pythagoras theorem. Students must be able to use Pythagoras theorem.
Okay.
That is the standard. And the task is that apply Pythagoras theorem to determine area of the triangle. Then the criteria. Was the student able to use Pythagoras theorem to determine sides of triangle and solve for area of triangle?
Let him go ahead and finish everything.
And the rubrics said, was the student able to use Pythagoras theorem and show each side of triangle? Yes and no. Was the student able to use Pythagoras theorem to solve for area of triangle? Yes. Then, does the student knows the step but couldn't get the right answer? Yes, but. The student did not get the right answer and the step. No.
Are they supposed to state Pythagoras theorem, or they are just supposed to identify from which? Don't give it. Identify from what?
No. Apply.
The standard is application
Of
of Pythagoras theorem.
To what? Then let's see the task.
So the task is now to apply the theorem to solve for area of triangle.
Okay.
Now the criteria is that they must be able to first use the theorem to identify sides. Then when they have the sides, they will use it to calculate the area.
So I think you are right. It's just their language in the criteria.
Okay.
In the criteria, first of all, you have to be able to state Pythagoras. Yes. You should be able to use it to find the area of sides, and you have to be able to use that side to find the area of the triangle. That's very good.
Because if it is not a right angle triangle, you can't use Pythagoras theorem.
Yes.
Then it has to be a right angle triangle. So if you don't state it, then how are you going to pick from
That's
there?
another. Good. Let's give him a round of applause.
It's thinking now. You want to comment on it?
No, I want to say my.
No, let's see.
But that's the validation. Oh, we have already done validation. So once your questions are in order in this way, go ahead and because you no longer confuse the student. You want to.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay. The standard. Students are able to determine accounting concepts. That's the standard. The authentic task. The authentic task. To be able, students should be able. Okay. Students are expected. Okay. Okay, the authentic task. 1. List accounting concepts.
No, we don't want to.
No one lists. Okay. Okay. What are accounting